cents per share. I told you, $4, 390, 394. Next day go down to 388. It just keeps going lower. They lose money every day on that trade. All right. As a long, we're sitting here saying, go ahead, knock yourself out. But that's what big players are seeing. They know those numbers that these guys have been borrowing stock at. They can't survive. Forget the naked short. They all know naked. Everyone knows naked short's here. Okay, that's a number we can't, put a stamp on it saying this is guaranteed. That's the SEC's job. The real short is numbers that everyone can see. Everyone on the street knows they've been calling around trying to borrow shares. I just told you a shareholder sent me a text message on Twitter, and he said Charles Schwab, for the 8th time, emailing and begging him to lend the shares. I put exactly up what he said. So they're reaching out to people that, got 10,000 shares or more, trying to borrow the shares, and they just keep people saying no. All right, I told you yesterday I found 42,500 shares that was lent out. They called them back in. The stock starts to go, and they just come in. They try to hold it down with their nickel and diming, all these, 1,000 shares, 500, whatever they do. They're trying to stop the upward momentum. The upward momentum, letting the stock trade higher, brings in sellers. People that paid $5 may want to sell it at $6.50, $7 to take a profit. All right? These guys can't let it go up because they can't afford it. So
right.
Again, no one's selling it, and they just hit the 589 bid for 100 shares, and the bid drops to 587. It's just the same nonsense all the time. I've always told you, William, accumulation is the killer. Slow march up is
it's
the
not
killer.
the thriller.
Excuse me?
It's not the thriller, but it's the
it's not
killer.
The thriller. It's the killer. Slow march up, sideways to up is the killer. And listen, I want this to be over like everyone else so we can move on to a different battle, but I don't control it. The SEC allows this. The DOJ should be locking these guys up for whoever's behind this thing. It's systematic risk. It's huge. And they just think that we don't know about it. For them not to come over and shut down and go after the company or anything, they know that if they go after anyone, they're going to have to show what's on their side of the fence in discovery. All right. So again, we're just sitting here waiting for these guys to actually get a call to deliver shares or something. And when the real short starts covering, he's basically shooting the naked short. All right. This is a good thing that we now have two parties short because they both don't trust each other. Because if the naked short starts to cover, the real short is going to get vaporized. Right.
Right.
He doesn't want to be in front of that. So at some point, he's got to sit there and say, okay, this trade did not work for me. I sold 3.3 million at $5. I lost $1 already down to $4. I'm down 6 million. You know what? This trade is not working. And when you work on Wall Street, you work on a trading desk. The best traders know when things are not working out to get out. And guys who hire traders look at traders and say, okay, this idiot is sitting here. He's just creating a mess. He doesn't know what to do. He's frozen because he maybe doesn't want to take the loss. And those guys get fired because they don't know how to react and take a loss. Taking a loss on Wall Street is the most important thing. All right. If you don't know how to take a loss, no one's ever going to trust you to manage their money. And whoever's doing this trade, borrowing the shares, is a buffoon. It's either his own money or he's working for somebody that when they figured out what he's done, that he's definitely created a big mess for him and the firm. And eventually they'll toss him out because it's too much risk for no reward. It's too much.
Yeah. Unless it's his own money.
If it's his own money, he's the biggest dummy ever because, if he's got $30 million, he's already lost 6 and he hasn't bought back a share already. So he could potentially lose all $30 million on one stupid trade trying to make $1 because him and his friends said this is a pump and dump or whatever it may be. I'm just looking at the stock, William. They dropped a bit from 89 to 87, down to 85, now to 84 without a trade. Now it's 100. It's the same nonsense. One share by 8. It's the same thing back and forth. Remember, people, they sell shares to themselves on the bid. So let's say I'm bidding 85. I would sell myself 5,000 shares at 85. And then I go on the offer at 88 and say, oh my God, I didn't want to buy it at 85. It was the wrong stock. Sell my stock at 88. So they basically sell it. The guy who buys it now, he turns around and sells it. That's all they're doing. And there you go. The 85 bid just dropped. It's down to 82 now on the no shares, nothing trading, or very little trading. And there's the old 100 shares by 800 shares again. Hurry up, everyone. Sell your stock. There's 100 shares to buy, and there's 800 to sell. It's the same pattern every day. When the buyer shows up, whoop, it goes right back up. So when they give it to you cheaper, there's no rush to pay up for it. I told you before, if you want to buy the stock, you buy half, you buy a percentage, and then you bid. You always get a better price because they can't help themselves. It's the same pattern. I wish they can change it up. Change it, take it to $7, $8. People will sell it, and then you drop it back down, and then you start over again. That's the way to do it, but they can't do it because they can't afford the margin money. So basically, they're trapped. It's like those Chinese handcuffs. You put both fingers in them, you can't get them out. That's what these guys have done. They trapped themselves.
So you told me this morning you thought it was trading differently. Do you still feel that way?
It's the same pattern.
That's Norm Macdonald.
Actually, there's no volume. It's the 100 shares back and forth cha-cha. So basically, it is trading differently. But the same pattern to try to get you to sell still exists.
Right.
You know, how many days is someone going to allow these guys to continue to live carrying something that can bring down companies?
Long time, apparently.
35 billion was lost in Volkswagen. I don't know the number in GameStop, but I know that one fund manager, Melvin Capital, I think it was, he lost over 9 billion himself.
Right.
So I don't know how much the rest of all the hedge funds, but in Volkswagen, it was 35 billion. That was a massive 35 billion could fund a country. I mean, think about what's going on here. We can help fund the Ukraine war, whatever the hell you want to do. That's how big these numbers are. We look at everyone says billions like it's it's only $1 billion. It's like, it's like $1 billion. Billions is massive, massive numbers. Massive. Imagine a $30 billion hit. Are you kidding me? Jeffries, the whole company's worth $7 billion.
Sure, we'll just put it on this student loan tab.
They'll be gone in a minute. When are they going to call the Fed up? Hey, how you doing? We lost $35 billion. Can you help us out here? They'll be like, what?
Just add it to the student loan forgiveness.
Right. They just throw it out there. Well, put it over here. Trust me. People are going to go to jail. When Finger Motion goes, people are going to jail. When GTI goes, people are going to jail. And for those who think that, the Kramers and all these guys are going to walk away, the paper trail goes right back to them from the beginning. That's where it all starts. It all starts with a toxic note. And William, the stock was 82 to 89. Someone sells 200 at 82. Now it's 580, 200 shares by 89. The sell-off in the stock down 26 cents is a massive sell-off on 200 shares. And that's supposed to scare everybody. All right. So again, there's not much more to say on that front. I discussed, the video, and I discussed how fast it went from a hero to a zero. Sell it, hurry up, it's garbage now. That's how Wall Street is. All right. And I told everyone a long time ago, that these names are a source of funds, meaning that they need to raise capital, they start selling out these big high flyers, and that's what happened there. All right, but that stock's down 20% from its high, right? $5 times 100 points, $100, and it was at 500. They were hailing it as the hero of AI. Now it's like, just sell it, hurry up and get rid of it. That's what they did in Tesla yesterday. They broke it past $2. Its bounce back rally has been, a couple of bucks. That's it. It's only up 56 cents now. And I told Ace the other day on his call, be careful, because they manipulate the stock Dow Jones by using certain stocks. Yesterday and today, UNH, it's up another 5 today. Yesterday was up 5. Goldman Sachs, which they drove down, was down 10. Came back yesterday, 10. Today, another $1.30. Maybe JP Morgan, I can't see. Caterpillar's always a favorite. Yeah, Caterpillar's getting wiped today, down 13. And it was up yesterday. So Caterpillar's down, so they have to take something up to balance it off, so the Dow doesn't look like it's down a zillion points here. It's down $23, the Dow. Not if you own NVIDIA or Caterpillar Tractor, you're sitting there saying, how's the market staying up? They use selective rotation, so be careful about that if you are playing the Dow. I mean, on the short side or whatever you're doing. All right, so now with no trades, now it's 580 bid for 100 shares, same pattern. And all of a sudden at 588, there's 8,500 for sale. So they're trying to say, hey, there's a seller here. You don't go past here. But again, these things all change in due time. Anything else, William? Have anything else?
Well, one guy was asking if you thought there was manipulation in the stock price of Finger over the last 2 or 3 days. I guess he's thinking.
Actually, the last couple of days, there have been naked shorting. The real short has been MIA.
Yeah.
All right. And the real short and the naked short collectively together were basically trying to give the stock a knockout punch, but they couldn't do it. But now the real short is taken out. He's reached his limit, and now there's a problem. All right. Now what does he do? He's standing here, and he's at the mercy of the stock price, because if it goes up, he can only choke. He can't defend it anymore. And for those of people, how do I know that? The stock loan, the rate to borrow shares has collapsed from 300% down to 130. So basically, the brokerage firms are now offering the rates lower to entice the shorts to come back and borrow again. All right, but nobody's borrowing any. So basically, the short is basically out of gas. That's a great sign. You can see it yourself. This is something, people had the borrow rate go down because no one's borrowing it. If you're selling your car or your house and no one comes there, you got to lower the price. That's exactly what the stock loan people are doing. When they were coming for it, they just kept moving backwards. Right? Yeah. They kept saying, move back, move back, move back. So 1,000 shares traded, William, at 580, and the 580 bid is still there for 100. And what they do is, it was 588 offer for 8,500. The guy who just bought it at 580 is now the 586 offer, 2 cents below the other offer, offering 200 shares. So they just sell it, and that guy goes to the other side of the coin. That's it. That's all they're doing. Going back and forth. It's basically a prearranged trade back and forth with themselves. Anything else, William? You okay?
Let me look. Well, I'm all right. Let me just see.
Are you back up? You got the
yeah, I'm back. It's back up. It just
you got your,
I gotta get a new computer.
You got your EF Hutton Bunker Ramo machine working?
Yeah, EF Slutton.
All right, they're picking up the pace now. We just had a 7,000 share trade at 580. With the 100 shares to buy, all of a sudden 7 or 8,000 just traded. So who's hitting the bid for 8,000 when there's 100 shares to buy? Nobody. So that's basically the only person that bought it is someone that knew it was coming. So that's a prearranged trade, everyone.
I don't know what happened with the airlines, but this guy's saying it's time to petition Congress for an investor bill of rights, a retail investor bill of rights. similar to what happened with the airlines. It's not a bad idea.
Well, listen, I'm 100%, but we're here to force the issue on a, with this little pimple that we have here. We need to get this one to pop. We trapped the shorts. The numbers are massive. The company's fundamentals are good enough to maintain anywhere range between $5 and $10 as a company. The revenues are growing. So where are they going? They trapped themselves, and they couldn't help themselves, thinking that the company could no way support the fundamental value of $5 to $10 stock. Well, the company has. The company said that they were going to raise money, and they put out in a statement they aren't raising money at these levels. All right. So again, they've done everything they said they were supposed to do, they've done. And yet the shorts continue to sell onto it. It's the same pattern for 2 years now. I don't even know, 3 years, the same pattern. Always trying to sell it lower to get people to bail out. That's all they're doing. And in any second, this can turn and be a rocket the other way. So the risk reward is, to me, is they're just holding a stock down that eventually is going to go up anyway because the revenue is going to be too great and the fundamentals. So where are they going? So William, just to recap, the 85.88 offer for what was 8,500 or something like that is now dropping down to 585 on 7,400. So the sell order, this massive sell order, just keeps moving and lower.
If you were a brokerage firm,
and that order just disappeared. Go ahead.
If you're no brokerage firm, let's just say there's one brokerage firm in the entire world, and there's 400 million shares short of GTII. People will argue one way or other, but it's just an example. And GTII had done a special dividend as warrant that didn't work. They did a bunch of other things. So I said, well, we're going to do a restricted dividend, 1 for 10. Now, 6 months later, the brokerage firms are unable to deliver unrestricted shares, apparently, or they're delaying, or they're stalling, or they're giving up. Is this a surprise to you? Should investors be alarmed that, oh my gosh, my brokerage firm has fake shares in my account and they can't deliver my real tradable GTII dividend? Or is this something we should have expected?
This is all done to expose the brokerage community about what's going on, about their mess. They know it, we know it, but this is information that is important to West Christian. You need to get the liability to go from the Kramers and Alpine, who both are zero, to E-Trade and Morgan Stanley and Fidelity. They are now issuing an unregistered security that they're creating. So they're basically committing fraud, because the sale of an unregistered security is fraud. So the journal entering of I or you or a real share into your account, or you think is a real share, they're just giving you a share that they conjured up. The company gets no money from it. And they're just saying, well, just put it in their accounts and it'll work out down the road. That's how Wall Street looks at this stuff. That's how they used to look at it. Now it's basically a way to trap them. You have to keep doing the dividends because it does create a mess. And the brokerage firms are starting to get the brokerage.
So I guess what I'm asking partly, why are people surprised that the dividends are locked up, the dividends are trapped, the dividends are worthless, they're not trading? The whole point of issuing this restricted dividend was to try to cause a reckoning, just like the warrant was back when it was working a year ago. None of this is surprising, but I guess it surprises people.
Listen, how does, for everyone on this call, how does the tail wag the dog? The dog wags the tail. It's the opposite way. The brokerage community, the stock settlement system, has zero to do with a public company. Nothing. Nothing about their products, nothing about their revenue. They know nothing about them. Yet they control the whole company because they don't settle the trade. Think about that.
Yeah.
The whole system is flooded. Nothing to do with public companies. There's cancer companies. What do they know about all these extra shares? The system allows criminals to navigate the system, and basically the tail wagging the dog.
That's it.
The
This is the
DTC
proof, if you needed any proof. I mean, this is the proof that most of your shares are not legitimate shares in GTII. And I don't know. I blame the broker dealers, but whoever you're talking to probably has no clue. Anyway.
With me, you mean? You're talking to me?
No. I'm talking to your audience. I mean, people are really upset. They can't get their GTI dividend. Where is my GTI dividend?
We all know.
My GTI dividend is worthless. Fidelity won't give me my GTI. Whatever. It goes on and on and on. But it's not a surprise.
They want people to pay $250 for a free dividend. So if you had 1,000 dividend shares right now at $60, it's $600, correct?
Right.
And they want you to pay $250 to get it, to lose 50% of it, 40% of it. That's how crooked this is. It's a free dividend. Why do you have to pay for it? There's nowhere it says the company says you have to pay for it. It's the brokerage firm trying to get you not to ask for it because they don't have it. Listen, these guys are making their own rules as it goes along. And if for those people who say, well, this doesn't work, you can't do this, they changed the rules. They used to be able to, we used to all be able to say, okay, send me my physical share.
Absolutely. Or just put in my existing account, I want all my stock in type 1. Put it in safekeeping.
But in the old days, we could say we want everyone get your cert. Call your brokerage up and send it.
And you wouldn't need it at home. You could just leave it there, or you get it at home. But back then, you could call your broker and sell your stock over the phone. Hey, I'd like to sell 50,000 shares of Exxon. Do you have it? Yes. Is it in your name? Yes. Okay, I'll put in the order. That needs to be delivered by Friday.
Right.
We would do it.
What they do now, William, if you do get your cert, A, they charge you to get it, and B, if you get it, no one will take it back.
No one will take it back.
So
there's a Shylock firm out, and I say that respectfully, but a pound of flesh firm out in California that'll help you. But they take 60 days. They charge you $3,000, and then they take. You have to sell it through them at whatever their crappy bid is, and pay 10% commission. The whole damn market's a fraud. The whole market.
So they changed the rules so that no one can buck the system by pulling their shares out. So they changed those rules.
Well, here's the thing. Everyone, it's only fake shares. Well, but guys, just because your other stock positions are sitting there simmering along without any alerts, it's all fake shares in those accounts. MULN, CLNV, CRTD. I mean, I can't think of all the symbols. It's all fake across the board. The only difference is GTII tried to catch these people out. Rather than be upset, you should be glad that it's catching them out. That's my opinion. But I can understand being upset. I can understand it. Just worn out by the whole thing. It's just endless.
There's no quitting in this game. So William, go take a puppy.
I'm not quitting. I'm just
go comb your hair.
Just whinging.
Whatever you got to do to get your strength back, get it back. We're not letting these guys get away. I've been doing this 23 years. I'm not letting them get away. I'm not letting the guys in Finger get away, and I'm surely not letting the guys in GTI get away. So again, up, down, doesn't make a difference. They want to keep trying to sell it. I pray if there is any justice, let Finger Motion go and let them sell GTI stock between 60 and 75 cents, all they can. Because then that would turn into a bloodbath 3 times greater than Finger Motion because they were trying to hold it down at a lower level,
Right.
meaning more shares.
Right.
So I pray that's going to happen.
I don't know what's going on outside, but yeah. So anyway, I still think, I know I changed the subject to GTII, but I still think Finger's the first one up.
Only by accident, okay? It's just that it's flip-flop. We've been saying that. It's just something that people need to be aware of. At any given time, either one of listen, GTII. I'm trying to put a little thing together where I can just focus on it. I'm just out of focus right now. But with GTII, you have Alpine. Listen, Richard, it's not legal advice, is putting up videos. People watch what he's talking about. He's reading all the complaints with the SEC and FINRA against Alpine. Alpine is the prime broker for the Kramers and GTII. How do we know that? The woman from the CEO of PBMM told us that, and it all came out. Then the DTC came out and said that the SEC came out, the DTC came out and said that there was a concentrated short position in GTII. The DTC's never told anybody that. Never. Look at all the complaints. They never told that. So Richard, while we have our, we have our guard down, fighting Finger Motion, has been putting out wonderful stuff, and people need to read. Go look at his videos. He's outlining the whole fraud. And this whole fraudulent activity. These guys have accounts in the Caymans. He's done everything. It's right there. He's just reading the court documents. Everybody knows what they've done. They've violated money laundering. They've done every violation in the world. So if Alpine's doing it, the Kramers were doing it too, because Alpine's the gatekeeper to the money as the prime broker. So whatever illegal activity Alpine was doing, they're helping out GTII doing the same thing with the Kramers and whoever else is behind it. So again, Richard, is not legal advice. Read his email, read his video, watch his videos. The guy's giving you all the information that I'm not giving to you every day because it's right there. I watch his videos. He's bringing me up to speed on these things, so I don't have the time all day. I'm not an attorney, but he talks about it straight ahead. He's reading the court documents. He's not making it up. He's an attorney. He's not twisting the facts. He's not doing anything but telling you what he sees here. And it's right there in front of you. Anything else, William? You're okay? Your machine up?
I'm all right. I just...
So while we were sitting here, they did a bunch of wash trades, blah, blah, blah. Buyer stepped up, and now it's 590 to 593 again. So what have they done? Nothing. All they've done, it's 12:45. All they've done is keep paying the parking meter. Let's look at it that way. The guy who's borrowing the shares is just paying a parking meter all day long. Put another quarter in, another nickel. Keep putting nickels in there. The naked short, he's got more problems than anyone because he's paying all kinds of fees. This prime broker, everybody's shaking that guy down for money. I don't even know how they keep doing it. They have no choice because they're all going to jail. That's the only reason they're doing it.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if they're shredding things and getting the hell out of Dodge because this stock is ready to explode. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen at this point. That's how I see it. The downside has been taken out. That doesn't exist anymore. The company fundamentals. We're on to the next quarter already. And there was a gentleman that called me today that spoke with the company's IR firm, and he said they're cash flow positive now, the company, for the next quarter. That's what he told me this morning.
Wow.
So company's cash flow positive. Their business is exploding. They're in China doing stuff, and they're not taking any money down here. He's like, I'm 1,000. I wish I could put him on the phone. but he's a pretty well-known guy, and he's got a good voice, so I won't put him on there. But oh, hold on a second. Hey guys,
Yeah.
that was one of the biggest holders in the company, and he was calling for an update. He just wanted to see what was going on. And some people say, "Oh, he's selling. He's not sold a share." So again, I just wanted to let you know that. I told him I'd give him a call back.
He just wanted to know what we had invested in. Just kidding.
He's been here. He's a monster player, big money guy, and he believes in what we're doing. So again, he wishes us, all of us, that he believes that we got these guys. Everyone looks at it. I told you about a guy who's been on the street a long time, and he spoke to a big-time trader at a multi-billion-dollar hedge fund, and they really didn't care about the naked short because they know it exists everywhere. Okay? Another call. Hold on. Everyone, I'm sorry, but I try to answer as many calls as I can. And people, what conference call? They always follow me, but then they all fall asleep on it. But a big trader on the street only follows. You got someone pitched him on it, and he said himself, the borrow rate. These guys, they just follow that, and these guys are basically showing their moves that they borrowed it. They're paying a fortune to do it, and all of a sudden they stop borrowing it. Is a sign that they're dead, and that's what a big trader is saying. Okay, he doesn't give a shit about naked shorts. He knows they're here. He said the real short is leading the path to them starting to cover. That's what he said. Wow. All right, that's what a big player is saying. That wasn't something that I discussed with you before because I had to wait for it to happen before I could see it. I know about the naked short, and he's saying, forget the naked short. The real short is going to kill the naked short because they can't keep up over 3 million shares short and paying these fees. They just can't survive, and that's what they're saying. So if the real short, we traded 247,000, trying to cover 3.3 million. Let's basically say it based on the average. How are they going to cover? It's going to take them 10 days at 300,000 a day, right? That's unless no one else is running alongside of them trying to borrow shares. And for those, again, who don't understand that, when people see someone starting to cover, it's called front running. That means get in front of the buy order. That's very common and a well-used program on Wall Street for players. Hey, there's 30 million to buy. If anyone remembers, I posted it about in Bed Bath & Beyond. It was $3. It went to 35. We heard there was 30 million shares to buy on the street, and within 3 days, it was $35. I guess that we got the call. I got the call that time that there was a big buyer. Everybody knew about it, and what everybody do? Ran in front of it. You remember that, William?
Right, yeah.
That's how Wall Street works. We all get the call on it, things start to run, and that's what happens. People get in front of it. All right, so the real short, I'd like to thank him for coming to the party. He tried. He had his 3 fake stories. He'd come out with a couple of more, maybe get someone else. The lawyers are looking for more people to put out fake stories about the company. The company all their filings are correct. You can read their revenue, speak with the CEO, go knock yourself out. It's all right there. If you have some factual information, let us know about it. Other than that, I don't know why you bothered trying to get us to sell. What do you want to thank you? You're protecting me? Don't protect the people in NVIDIA. They just lost $100. Or maybe the people in Tesla, they lost $100 too. Go help them. But they chose to help the people in Finger Motion. That's who they want to help. No one else, us. They're here to help you, but they're your friends.
Yeah.
William, hurry, get out. Go do
What I
something
need,
else.
friends.
Don't look this way. Don't let anybody know what we're doing. It's a secret. Do you have any other questions, William?
Not really. Yeah, I mean, there's a philosophical question that I was asked years
The
ago.
answer to that is yes.
Well, yeah. The guy asked, "What happens if there's a market crash?"
The
And
stock's going to go up.
all right, there's a good answer. But he's asking in a bigger sense, what happens to all the money? What happens if the stocks go really crash? Where does all the money go? I've been asked that before, and it's a
miss. Money go if the market crashes. Well, it goes from your pocket. Investors put in their 401k. The doctors, the teachers, the military, everyone gets their asses kicked. So when you go to retire, instead of having 500,000, you lose 30% of that. You're down to 350. And they keep telling you, just keep putting more money in. You'll get back to even. Okay, great. That's what they tell everybody. And all they do is siphon your money a little at a time. When a market crash comes, everyone gets destroyed. That's how it works.
Yeah.
And when the market crash comes, people use big stocks as a source of raising money, like NVIDIA or a Tesla or a Caterpillar. They take the money off of there. And if they're lending money out to Lind Partners or anyone who supports these criminal activities, they're going to say, hey, man, I lent you money as leverage. I need it back. They're going to say, no, if you do that, we got to get bought in. I don't give a shit. Give me my money back. And all of a sudden they went, having, $100 million times 10 times leverage, $1 billion. Now they have, that leverage is gone. And they have to start buying back the stock. And what they're going to do is, what the stock is telling me, is they don't have the money to buy it back, and they're going to walk away, and they're going to leave a big hole in the system, and they're going to go to jail. And if you could, I watched the show last night on Netflix, and I think everyone should kind of watch it. It's about John Gotti, and it just shows you how stupid they were that the FBI could put a bug in his office, and he told them everything when the bug was in there. But the funny part, I have to tell you this story, William. This is the FBI's plan to bug his social club. They had a guy put cardboard in front of the social club every day, the same thing. And after he did it, he walked up the block and he went and had coffee in the luncheonette. He did it every day.
Right.
One day, he put a refrigerator box there, but there was somebody in it. Inside the box, now the FBI is all watching the place, all over the place. Inside the box is the guy who can pick locks. And when it got dark, he moved the box over to the door, picked the lock, opened the door, and the FBI agents all walked in and bugged the place. That's what the FBI did. If you can watch it, you'll sit there laughing because they showed the box moving over to the door with feet in it. It's the most ridiculous thing in the world. But that's when the FBI wants you, they'll do anything.
They can catch crooks when they want to.
They can catch crooks, and they listen to his tapes because they have to keep shutting it on and off. I think a minute and a half is what they can listen to on a tape, and then they have to turn it off and turn it back on, something like that. But again, if you watch it, and at the end of the day, they all ratted on each other. They're all going to jail. His right-hand man, Sammy the Bull, who murdered people, gave him up. They all start talking to save their ass. And that's what's going to happen with Lind Partners. Those people are going to start squealing. They're going to point the finger, hopefully at the guy in Australia, the billion, whatever that guy's name was, Hancock. I forgot his name.
John Hancock.
What's that guy's name?
John Hancock. Every time you sign something, John Hancock.
That is really his name, Hancock?
That's it, John Hancock.
Well, he basically, let's hope it leads back to him. He's worth $1.9 billion. The guy that was in short Volkswagen was worth $9 billion, and he jumped in front of a train and lost all his money. So
his mother is the wealthiest person in Australia.
Well, soon he'll be poor, so good for him. He's been looting the U.S. through Lind Partners for a long time, getting 220% returns. Lord knows how much more he was hiding around there. So obviously, he's a big benefactor of what they're doing, right? And he's been doing it for a long time. So
Right.
again, how do you put up 100 million, get 200% a year? He's doing very well, right? Do a few
Right.
years of that. Lynn Partners is better than Warren Buffett. No one ever knows about it, right? The best kept secret on Wall Street. They should match him up with Warren. The SEC just has to say, hey, we're going to invite you to our conference. You've got better returns than Warren Buffett. Come up here and tell us how you do it. That's all they have to say. Over here's the DOJ, the Secret Service. They want to know too. Come tell us how you do it. Because you're so wonderful. Tell everybody. Everybody else loves to tell their positions. Oh, look at Carl Icahn, this one, all the short sellers, Chanos, all of them. I'm short, I'm long, even Warren Buffett, but everyone loves to talk. Lynn Partners never says anything. They keep it quiet. They don't want anybody to know who they are. But we exposed them, and now they got a big problem.
Makes sense.
Got to answer all the questions?
That's all of it.
Well, there's not much more to say. We say the same thing every day. It's the end of the month. Are they trying to hold it down, waiting to save 14 cents in a mark? Who knows? They don't want their clients to know that they got this big short position and they can't get out of it. And they just increased it by another 3.3 million shares. I told you Tom's number was just short of 200 million. Given yesterday, the last couple of days, we should be at 200 million. I don't want to let you know I'm making up a number. That's where we are. I believe we're right there.
So his number's at 200 million almost. Wow, that's
yes,
amazing.
It's just short. It was just short a couple 100,000, but yesterday was 400,000 or 500,000 more. It just keeps whatever number was yesterday. In 2 or 3 days, it'll be we're right there.
Wow.
So I just rounded it up for everybody. And for those who say you're crazy, you fucking idiot, you're crazy. Well, show me where they're covering. What is that? Them bidding for one share, 100 shares at 597? Where are they? I never see them covering.
Yeah.
They never cover. If anyone can show me the day, a time they're covering, let me know, because it's a pretty big position that they're not covering.
Right.
Right. So again, your opportunity, you figure it out. I'm telling you, we documented it. We put the truck in front of the SEC. We've called out everybody. This is a life-changing situation. I can't tell you to buy the stock. You make your own decisions. We posted the information about the company. The company's posted 100 videos on what they do. It's funny that they have the biggest market in the world. If you said it was Apple, everyone would be jumping into it. They got into China. Oh my God, they could sell in China. Starbucks, McDonald's, everybody, Costco, we could sell shit in China. Thinkomotion has all of China. It's worthless. Every cell phone user in the world is in China. They have the information on them, how they drive, what they eat, everything about them. And it's worthless. That's Lynn Partners telling you.
I think you could sell shit in Shinola.
Everybody can sell something. You get people trying to get into China. AIZ couldn't get into China. I don't know how many years, 10 years, I heard. AIZ Assurant. They knocked up Fingermotion's door in 2 weeks. Now they're the cell phone insurance company of China. AIZ. A little different, right? They were begging to get into that market. They get into the market, cell phone insurance, no big deal. They call it Apple Care. And the CEO says it. And it's mandatory. Everyone has to buy cell phone insurance in China. All right, so everybody turning in their new phones, old phones to get new phones, it's mandatory. Why? Because there's cell phones in China. There's no money in China. Everyone has to use their cell phones. If you don't have a cell phone, you're useless in society. So the Chinese government's making sure everybody has a phone. No matter what happens, if it breaks, you'll get another one and you're still in the game. That's what they did there.
Yeah.
And Fingermotion's on the forefront of it. But thanks to the shorts, it's worthless. If I would have said NVIDIA was going to get into China and sell their chips in China, everybody would be going crazy, right? Oh my God, it's the best thing in the world.
Yeah, but NVIDIA doesn't have the crack research team at Lynn Partners up against them.
So for everybody who doesn't know, every time a company, GTII or Fingermotion, put out a press release, within 1 second, there was a report that was, I forgot, one of the reports was real long. I was reading it, and they already started smashing it down. I read the stories that just hit, and they were smashing the stock down, and we were laughing about it, how these guys attack the stocks before you even blink. They read the whole report already, know what it's about, and they just decided to sell, no matter what the company says. You know, company comes out with great numbers, hurry up, it's a sell. It's all fake.
That's right.
In a second, and we've seen it. I can't tell you how many times we witnessed the attacks. We used to say that Charlie Mayo was the analyst for the Kramers. News out on the company. Charlie Mayo, hit the sell button. It's bad. That's what it was. We used to make fun of that every day.
All you do is sell. That's the secret to their strategy. Just keep selling.
Right. And I think the SEC, the DOJ, everybody knows about it now. And
they never run out of shares because no one looks.
Well, listen, I'm grateful that everyone's taking the time to understand it. I'm sick that anyone has to lose a penny if they had a bailout or whatever. But again, we can't stop it. We've been fighting it. We're trying our best to expose this thing. Gary Gensler is speaking next week at the Conrad Hotel. William, I think I stayed at that hotel the last time I was down to meet you. I think I stayed at the Conrad. I think I know where that hotel is. But anyway,
hello,
he's going to be speaking. He'll be speaking, and I think it's November 7th. And we just may have to park the truck outside that. And it's at a conference on.
We should get miniature trucks that can go up and down his hallway.
I want to put the truck playing the circus music all day outside the buildings, driving them nuts.
Just do it in. We'll get a room on his hall, and it'll go up and down with Princess Layla, ghostly visions saying.
Well, Mark Bazile is a real trooper because he barked out to him, what's your thoughts on naked short selling and finger motion? He asked him straight out in MMTLP, and he actually took a photo of him walking away from his comments.
Unbelievable.
If that doesn't tell you how a security regular
he walks away from an investor, walks away from an attorney, walks away from the whole mess because, hey, he's Gary Gensler. He's better than all of this.
Well, that just shows you that we have to fight this for ourselves, and we are doing it. Remember, we fight as one, you win. If you break apart, that's what they tried to do 10 times already. They try to scatter the troops, and they try to win. That's what the game is about. But again, if the stock was $10, $20, $30, it'd be hard for me to hold your hand through this process because they can make volatility like crazy at those numbers. Here, where are they going? They're basically trying to put the company below what it's worth. This isn't a company that is trying to get revenue. This company is cash flow positive now. That's what the gentleman told me this morning. Cash flow positive. So here's a company's cash flow positive.
Wait a minute. Michael Dion said there was no clear path to profitability.
Right. Where is that guy? Where is his story?
Oh, he made the stock go down 3 points in 2 days. But was he wrong? No, he couldn't have been wrong. He wrote that report out of integrity, Michael Dion.
Right. It's easier to push the stock down to get people to panic to sell than to get people to panic to buy.
Particularly when the SEC allows you to publish and disseminate fraudulent research, and the cop on the beat walks away from one attorney that knows what he's talking about. Right. But hey, keep voting for Biden. It'll get better with Biden. Just keep riding with Biden. Things will be better.
Listen, what's going on in DC is a disgrace on many fronts, what they've done to our country. But to let these few people steal from millions of people is just insane, because I have no idea if the Kramers or Alpine or Lynn Partners or whoever else, what's that guy, Hancock, are tied to offshore terrorists. Did they steal money, donate it? You don't know.
Does it make a
You have
difference?
no idea. You have no idea.
They do the
who
same effect.
Right. I'm just saying, but you have no idea if they're terrorists supporting offshore groups that want to kill people. I don't know. And that has to stop. Everything in the country, if you send money back and forth, they get you. You can't carry $10,000 into the country, they grab you. These guys are just looting millions a day like it's no big deal. Millions. And no one stops it.
It's billions.
Billions, I'm sorry. It's actually 9 billion shares a day. Is that what the number was? Susan Trimbat said FTDs are 9 billion a day.
Hey, I found it. No clear path.
A day. Excuse me. Right. How does the SEC not even address what she's saying? It's right in their statements. She knows how to read their financial statements because she worked at the DTC. So I told you before, Susan Trimbat on Twitter, you can go follow her. And she worked at the DTC, and she's an expert on them. She's a little more over everyone's head. I don't have time to explain everything of what she does. But if you want to dig deep into the fraud and understand it more, just follow her. We're using the basic pattern here. Stop the music. If there's 20 million shares, we should have people there should be only enough people that own 20 million shares. We can't have 24 million shares and have 245 million investors. It just doesn't, the numbers can't match up. It's impossible. And that's what we're trying to say to you. We got 200 million short, real naked shorts, 3.3 million real shorts. That's 203 million shares owned by, it could only be, the whole thing could be only 24 million. How could it be possible?
The Capybara report, no clear path to profitability. It was dated 10/3/2023. So it's not even a month old, this report. The headline is no clear path to profitability. And you just told me that you just understand the company as of yesterday or today is profitable?
Cash flow positive. Exactly the exact words the guy said to me.
Cash flow positive. So this Capybara report didn't even age 1 month before it's totally false, which we knew.
Right.
But they took 150 million in market cap off the stock, and Gary Gensler walks away blithely because, hey, I have everything under control.
$150 million
counterfeit report from a bunch of corrupt assholes, and Gary Gensler does nothing about it because he's the cop on the take. He's not the cop on the beat. He's the cop on the take. And that's my personal opinion. No one else has to assume my opinion.
I'll use it. My opinion, he's a scumbag, but that's okay. You can use that. You can stick with you guys. He's a disgrace that he walked past the truck. He should have stopped, told his enforcement guys, look into this right now. Everyone standing here, I'm telling you, stop this right now. If you guys are wrong, we're going to come after you.
Do you think if Jim Jordan had been walking by with his coat sleeves rolled up and his staff around him and someone showed, what if Jim Jordan said, hey, Molly, get on that. I want to file on my desk tomorrow morning. And then let's follow up at the meeting. Gensler, hey, what time's my dinner tonight? I got to make sure I'm seen at Cafe Milano. And then I need to be in just thought.
We're not waiting for them. We're not letting them get away. All right. Today could be a slow day, but there's people to see. Things will happen. Slow. We're not going away. Make your bets accordingly. If you're nervous, you can exit. Don't be afraid. There's nothing I can say to protect you, but I will tell you, we will expose these characters. We're not going to stop. That's just how it goes. All right. Anything else?
I wonder how Wall Street's going to destroy our trucking industry. There's more things to make money on and destroy.
They steal from everything.
They
destroy
steal.
everything.
It's incredible what
Think
you know.
about these companies. Every company tried to make an electric vehicle. The government wants people to have them. Guys are trying to make them, and they destroyed them. Look, where's Mullen? I think at 20 cents now.
Yeah.
Do you think the guy? You think the guy went into that business to have a 20-cent stock?
No, and
Right.
do you think everyone joined him? Is 28 cents actually, but I mean, this is the job of the cop on the beat, but the cop on the beat is a wuss.
Right.
And that's the only word I can use that spells in a woke way.
Right.
He's a
It's
wussy.
Well, listen, they know that this is a major problem. I put up the stories yesterday. Just go read The Economist from 2011. The Economist is the #1 financial magazine in the world. And in the cover, in the story, it says, the regulators are rattled by the number of unsettled trades. It's right there. That's in 2011.
Here's one guy pointing out that regulations are what destroys it. They're the destroyers. So it's pretty good. None of the regulations matter in the securities markets except at you, but not at the friends of Gary Gensler. But
yeah. Patrick Byrne posted this, and I bookmarked it on Twitter for myself, and I read it all the time, and I'll read it for you now. Give me 1 second, pulling it up.
My friend at he used to have on his desk a quote from Mike Milken: "If you want a tax loss, call a retail broker."
Well, Patrick Byrne put this up. When exposing a crime is treated as committing a crime, you're being ruled by criminals. And I always watch this because, when we put the truck in front of the SEC conference, the enforcement conference, or at their door, you always sit there and think, oh, we're doing something wrong. But we're not doing anything. We're just trying to help. And here it is, the criminals keep coming after us, the guys, the bashers, all these people, they get paid to attack people. And we're looking at it saying, all we're trying to do is get people to stop stealing everybody's money. What is that? What do we got to do with it? And I've always said that, follow the paper trail, the sell tickets. I know they're not coming to me, and I know they're not coming to William. So who's selling all these shares every day? That's all you have to do is follow the paper trail, correct?
That's right.
Follow the paper trail, and you'll get the criminals. We can't stop it. It's pretty easy. And the criminals are upset because we gave the SEC the blueprint. Not that it was a hard thing to do, but just follow the sell tickets, and you can follow it to the money. And there you go. That's the whole game. And we're exposing it. We're exposing it using dividends. We're exposing it doing, the truck. We're exposing it in every way, shape, or form we can. MMTOP, those poor people have been in over a year. And the SEC, no one can give them an answer. They can't even answer Congress. Think about that, how crazy that is.
Yeah.
They don't even address going back to Congress. Who's asking for, they want the audited numbers. And they won't even get it back to them. They're like, what? Who? We don't even know what you're talking about. I never seen anything like it in my life. Thank God I'm not on that committee. I would be ended in a second. Give me the numbers. I need it now. End the conversation. By the way, I got summons to be on a grand jury. I'm only praying it's to indict these characters. Would that be funny?
No. You're not gonna stick to the jury pool.
I'm gonna faint if they say, "Oh, we're looking at Lynn Partners and naked short selling." I'm gonna faint in the grand jury.
You won't pass.
I'll be down in the Southern District. If any of the criminals are looking for me, I'll be in the grand jury room. All right, when I get called, I'll be going. So I don't know what it is, but it better not be a naked short seller because there's definitely going to be a leak coming out of that courthouse. I can tell you that.
Well,
All right.
if the jury pickers are listening, you just got unpicked.
The last time I went to a trial, I was on jury duty a couple of years ago. I walked in, and they had the criminal in front of us with his attorney, and they listed his crimes. He kidnapped some woman, raped her, tied her up, whatever, beat her, whatever he did, all those crazy things. And they go around the room. Do you have any daughters? I said, I have 2. And they go, does that change your opinion? I said, he's guilty. Throw him out. I was out of here in a minute. This is not a prayer. He's guilty. I'm out. Get out of here. I'm not even going to listen to it. It's just so disgusting. So, all right. So I gave you all my stuff. I don't know if Jameis Winston was traded. I don't get anything, so I assume nothing happened. So I ruined my day. Anyway, I'm going to get to work. I'm going to make some calls, educate some people, and see if I can shake the tree a little bit and chase these little rat bastards around a little bit.
All right.
All right, everyone. Have
Thank
a great
you.
day, William. Feel better.
Thank
Fix
you.
your computer. And remember, as they say in Brooklyn, take care, comb your hair.
I like that. Take care, comb your hair. What do? They say to you, take care, and then what? Take care.
I say it to you. Now I know what to get you for Christmas, a big goddamn brush. I'm going to give you the brush that I brush my dog's hair with. All right. Have a great day. I'll speak to you later. Thank you.
See you later. Bye.
Call ended.
All right. So, Ted, let's just go through some of your questions. I've got a. Okay, so Ted, sounds like you're in a bad mood about your account. I can't blame you. Let's start with this one. Worldwide Diversified Holding, WHDI. So Ted, let's just talk about me. Oh my God, in my account at E-Trade, I still have WHTI and it's not trading. Okay, I got that out. Whew. 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 Got that out of my system. But I owned, I don't remember the exact amount. I own just under 100,000 shares of Houston Natural Resources Corp. Last year. I paid up to 75 cents a share for those shares, but I paid 30 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents in that range for HNRC. I waited to the dividend record date. So I didn't receive 50,000 shares of WHDI because I had just under, but it was something like, let's just call it, no, I'll try to, it's in 2 accounts, so it's hard to, well, you know what, Ted, let's go through it. I'll add it up so you know exactly what I have. So you know exactly what I have in okay. All right. It's so frustrating, but I'll do it, Ted, because I mean, how can it possibly be that we both could be so wronged so wronged by the market and for so long and so unfairly. All right, I have a lot less than I thought I had. Ted, I have 45,721 shares of WHDI in my two accounts. There you have my amounts. And mine are restricted. What is it from? It was the distribution when you bought HNRC. And they're still showing restricted. Okay. I don't have time, Ted, to go back. So we'll call my amount 45,000. 45,000. This WHDI was trading for that's the wrong word. That was their estimated value per share of WHDI. Now you got one share of WHDI for every 2 shares of HNRC. So I have 45,000. I suppose I can go back through the news stories for you. It's something you can do. And since you own so much of it, I suggest you do. But I have 45,000 shares times 350. It's $160,000 worth of worldwide diversified holding. Oh my gosh, it's in my account, it's restricted, and I can't trade it. Okay. That's one way to look at it. And it has been a year later. That's another way to look at it. Yet another way to look at it is, oh my gosh, if they start this trading without making sure their revenue's in place, without making sure institutions are in place, without making sure their management team is in place, without making sure they have corporate invests in place, that's going to just get destroyed. But according to press releases from HNRC, which I'm not going to look up right now, I'm just not going to do it. You can do it. I have $160,000 worth of worldwide diversified holdings. Oh my gosh, it's restricted and it's still restricted, and the market steals from us and takes from us, and it's always wrong. It's always bad. Okay, it's one way to look at it. Way I look at it, I have $160,000, which potentially could be, by the way, when they talked about it, they said it could be worth $5 or more a share. So it's conceivable that what was distributed is worth more than 160,000 to me. How realistic is it? It seems kind of like a gift from heaven, possibly. But remember, the market's short. Oh, there's systems in place. Short. Oh, that doesn't count when they deliver. Short. Shares. Driving the prices down. There are no research analysts. There are no trading desks there's a fraudulent cop on the beat who's a pompous ass, if you want to know the truth, shows up with his entourage and leaves. The guy is a pretender. But anyway, if they being management at Worldwide Diversified Holding were to just start trading, you'd sell, John would sell, Mary would sell, Joy would sell, and Terrebonne Parish would sell. And the stock would be down, and then the shorts would pile on. But the thing is, it wouldn't be restricted anymore. So let's get that restriction off, and let's just open up the selling. Let's drive it down. The guy's obviously lying. That's why he's keeping the restriction on. And as soon as we lift the restriction, the stock price will get pummeled. And then I'll feel good. At least we got rid of the restriction, and I got my shares to trade. Well, what'd you get out at? Well, I got out at 4 cents. Are you glad they lifted the restriction? Oh, hell yeah, I got out. I don't know. So that's my one answer to you, Ted. I'm in the exact same position as you are. You own more than I do. I don't know that it was much more. I own 45,000 shares of WHDI, and WHDI owns artificial intelligence. They have a contract with Carl's Burgers or something like that. So when you go through the burger, it's all AI and it does your whole order. They have that. And this is revolutionary. I don't know how. And they've got telecommunications. They've got other aspects. Is it worth that much per share? I'd like to give them a chance to make it worth that much. My opinion is they're going to have to roll in other companies, roll in other assets. I'd like to give management a chance to make my 47,000 shares worth 45,000 shares worth 150 grand to me. But if you want me to fight the battle that we got to lift that restriction, come hell or high water, I'll fight it. And we can all go down sinking together just to make sure that Wall Street lifts the restriction and we have non-restricted shares. It's totally the wrong direction. Totally the wrong direction. Totally the wrong direction. I'm pleased in WHDII that I bought HNRC. I think I paid 75 cents at the top of what I bought to get this dividend. And then now, a year later, I still have this dividend, which is worth more than what I paid for HNRC all by itself. Now, I didn't look to see where HNRC is trading. I also own shares in HNRC. I sold my shares in HNRC to take the tax loss after the record date. And I waited my 31 days and I bought back in. I still own HNRC. I either own the same amount or somewhat more than I owned before. Why would I do that? The stock's at, I don't know where the stock is. It's at 6 cents. Well, there's rumors that they're going to pay a dividend, cash dividend. Well, that didn't come to fruition. What did come to fruition, HNRC purchased all of Cunningham Energy. And now the name of the company is Cunningham Energy. According to their press release that I cannot vouch for, the asset value of HNRC per share is almost $3 a share. Well, how can that be? The stock's selling at 6 cents. There's got to be something wrong here. Every stock on the over-the-counter markets under Gary Gensler's cop on the beat supervision is destroyed by Goldman Sachs prime brokerage and Goldman Sachs prime brokerage clients. And then it fritters out to all the others as well, the Alpines and whatever the shitty names are. It's all made up names with people with smiles on their faces to get gullible CEOs to sign a toxic note that includes, if you go below $1, you're in default. And then they hand that off, and then they call the CEO at their friend, the CEO at Vocal, and say, it's not me. I'm not selling. I'm a very important person on Wall Street. I raise money. I just syndicated that stock. I'm not the one doing it. Well, sorry, Jeff Easton, you are the cause of it. You're just a patsy on the front of whoever you syndicated all those deals for. And make no mistake, Jeff Easton, you are a patsy. So they short these stocks and they sell these stocks and they just keep selling the stocks and they keep selling it. And then we go, oh, wait a minute. Ham said this. Benedetto said that. Lou said that. It doesn't matter unless they're associated with the shorts. It doesn't matter. The shorts just keep selling. It's just relentless. It's like the machines in Terminator. Just keep coming and coming. Keep selling. Keep selling. Keep selling. Keep selling. And the prima donna over the SEC doesn't care. Anyway, so Ted Williams, I'm very hopeful that my 45,000 shares of WHDI that I purchased probably for close to, if I bought 100,000 shares, close to 70, I probably paid 70 grand for my average price for my HNRC. I kept this. I ended up selling my HNRC at a loss and took the loss. That's gone now. And now I own HNRC back. But I hope, Ted, that WHDII is worth 45 times 350. It might be 45 times 5. It might be 45 times 10 by the time they let it trade. As far as I'm concerned, keep it restricted until you're ready to trade, boy, because I don't want you to experience the lassitude and the lax oversight that the lying, pompous, arrogant Gary Gensler tells Congress that he's the cop on the beat and that our markets are the deepest, most transparent. All right, let me see what else Ted said. Ted had one more question. I can't remember now what it was about. It was about some other stock that isn't traded. Oh, GTII maybe? Ted Williams. Okay. Okay, Ted Williams. 62,000 World Diversified Holding shares restricted. I'll buy them from you. What do you want for it? I'll pay you $5,000. How's that? $62,000. Ted, you have $62,000 on the company's own press releases. They said that was worth $3.50 a share. And that's over a year ago. The company still has earnings, still has growth. That works out to $217,000 a share. To you, $217,000. But you're in a hurry to get it unrestricted so you can see the stock go to 5 cents. I don't know that people. Is there logic in the thinking? I think there is. There's frustration, and I understand that. I have total frustration. But the stock market is fraud. Hillary Clinton hid 33 million emails. Fact. Joe Biden won the election with 81 million votes. Fact. The most honest election in history. Fact. And our markets, according to Gary Gensler, are the deepest, most transparent, best capital formation markets in the world. Fact. Fact. So, in that situation, 62,000 shares of World Diversified Holdings Restricted must be something wrong, because you got it for free. It's a distribution for free. I don't know what you paid for HNRC. But Ted, let's make that an agenda item. We will do our best to get I'm having a hard time remembering the CEO's name. Drew would have my ass. How can you give advice if you can't remember the CEO's name? Robert Kepke? Anyway, let's make it our goal, Ted, to get these shares listed so the shorts can destroy them down to 5 cents before the company has a chance to come out of the gates roaring. Let's make that our agenda. The WHDI shares should be unrestricted and should go meet their fate the same way the slaughter of any other over-the-counter stock on Gary Gensler's marketplace. Let me just see, Tom. If I see one more question from you, I'll stop there. But you had so many. The divvies tradable, that is. I'm jumping in on that one. Here, I have 15,000 fake divvy shares with Fidelity. All right, so you have fake divvy shares with Fidelity. You know they're fake. That means you must have had 150,000 shares of GTII, which I guess you know were real. Or do you think those might have been fake? You don't know. Ted, GTI issued restricted shares, and in order to get them, your shares have to be recorded or some sort of process with the transfer agent. That's what's tripping up Fidelity. I can, again, Ted, I'll be glad to do this. In fact, I'm gonna add this to my list. Tomorrow, Ted, I'm gonna call GTII, and with the strongest pressure I can give, I'm gonna ask them to remove the requirement to have shares registered at the transfer station. That way, what Fidelity can do to you, Ted, is just issue stock to you. Fake, just like your other 150,000 shares. They can just issue it to you. They don't have to go through any proof positive. They can just give you IOUs. And then, Ted, your account will show 165,000 if you still have your position in GTII, and it'll show up in your statement. It'll have black and white value. It'll have a black and white entry, and you can sell it. And the Fidelity crew will send you cash, and no one's the wiser. And we can all just get back on with life. And you'll be hopefully the first one out, because as everyone else gets their shares and everyone else realizes that there's no gimmick anymore, there's no way to trap the short anymore, everyone else starts selling. But we'll work it out so, Ted, you can get out first. All right, let me go see what other disastrous bad news there is in the market. Hey, Ellie Belly. You did get your GTII dividend. It's automatic. Let's just I know it's hard to do. It's very hard to do. Okay. OTC markets, GTII, 60 cents. Scroll down. News, you hit news. Scroll down. You hit more. You go back 6 months. GTII, Disclosure and News Service. March 10th, 2023. I'll read it to you guys because I know over the span of these many months, you probably didn't have time to read it. Global Tech Industry Group plans to offer restricted share dividend to its shareholders. New York, March 10, 2023. Global Tech Industry Group, GTII, announced today that its board of directors has authorized and approved management to take all steps necessary to issue a dividend to its shareholders in the form of restricted shares at a ratio of 1 share for every 10 shares owned of a to be decided record date. The dividend offering is subject to FINRA's guidelines and actions. Okay, we read that. Then we go back to news. We hit news. We hit more. And we pull up dated April 15th news for GTII. Global Tech Industries Group submits corporate action request to FINRA for stock dividend. Additionally, sets record date as of April 15th, 2023. April 15th, 2023. So that's April, May, June, July, August, September, October. 6 months are up. GTII announced today that on March 17, it submitted a corporate action request to FINRA to issue 1 for 10 dividend to its shareholders with a record date of April 15th. Okay, we'll go back to news. On 4/28, GTII of this year, news. It's tough. You know, you got to go, you Google, go to OTC Markets or go to Yahoo Finance, type in the entry, go to news. Takes 2 or 3 steps. It takes time. It's time consuming. Global Tech Industries to reward GTII shareholders with 1 common stock dividend for every 10 shares held. GTII announced today that it has officially begun the process of issuing shares of its common stock to all shareholders who held shares as of April 15, 2023. Any shareholder who held GTII shares either at Liberty Stock Transfer, the company's transfer agent, or in street name at a broker-dealer or brokerage firm, will be issued 1 share of restricted common stock of 1 share restricted common stock for every 10 shares then held. Liberty will issue shares to shareholders, which will automatically be added to shareholder totals on the shareholder list. Shares will also be issued to the Depository Trust Corporation, and shareholders who hold shares in broker-dealers or brokerage firms should contact them directly, the brokerage firm, to make sure their shares are added to their personal accounts. On 5/9, Global Tech Industries Group has successfully distributed its stock dividend. GTII, May 9, 2023, announced that it has successfully distributed its 1 for 10 stock dividend to its shareholders. Issuances were made directly into the accounts of those shareholders who have been holding their shares at Liberty Stock Transfer. The remainder of the issuances for shareholders who hold their shares with brokerage or at brokerage houses were distributed by Liberty directly into the DTCC, which then transferred the shares to the individual brokerage firms who hold GTII stock. Those shareholders should contact their brokers directly to receive the dividend in their account. On 10/11, GTII news press release 10/11/23. Global Tech Industry Group explores a general restriction release for its dividend receiving shareholders. GTII today announced that it is working with counsel to ascertain the possibility of composing a general legal opinion to be submitted to Liberty Stock Transfer so that all shareholders as of April 29, that was the record date, 2023, or that was the effective date, who received the 10% stock dividend from the company, April 29, 2023, can have their resale restrictions removed as of October 29, 2023. Our goal is to find the easiest way to further reward our loyal shareholders by taking on the task of getting their stock dividends free and unrestricted as of October 29th. If we can put this plan into effect, shareholders will not have to produce individual legal opinions, but will instead only have to contact Liberty and ask them to transfer their stock to their own brokerage account. This will save time, money, and effort, which is our main goal. October 26th. October 26th. October 26th. I know just because it happened last week doesn't make it any more difficult to look it up. You go to Google, OTC markets, scroll down to news, more, and then you can see all of these. Global Tech Industry Council to issue general restriction release for its dividend receiving shareholders. GTII announced today, October 26, 2023, that its general counsel has composed a blanket Rule 144 legal opinion and has submitted it to Liberty Stock Transfer, the company's transfer agent. All shareholders as of April 29, 2023, who received the 10% stock dividend from the company can now have their resale restrictions removed as of October 29, 2023. David Reichman, quote, "We put our plan of saving our shareholders time and money into effect by issuing a blanket general opinion to release their dividend shares. As of October 29th, shareholders can contact their brokers and ask to have their stock transferred to their brokerage accounts. This is a big win for everybody, and we are satisfied that we got this done before the October date." And that is everything on the GTII dividend that's been announced? Frank Kristen. Okay. Frank Kristen, Ted Williams announced at HNRC. I know it's difficult to look these things up, so I'll do it for you and just beg everyone, people have to wait while we go through it. Effective after the close of business, May 26, 2023. HNRC confirms distribution of Worldwide Diversified Holdings. May 26, 2023. This will combine the company's legacy businesses in software, telecommunications, and consulting into one business. Worldwide Diversified Holdings, WDHI, to be launched as an independent, publicly traded, and thereby focus on energy. That's a confusing sentence. It'll be publicly traded company and thereby will allow Houston Natural Resources to focus on energy. This will best position each of the company's businesses in order to realize their full potential, deliver long-term growth, and create value for all our stakeholders. The distribution to HNRC shareholders of one share WDHI common stock for every 2 HNRC shares is to be effective on May 26, 2023. The spinoff will provide current HNRC shareholders with ownership interests both in HNRC and WDHI upon the spinoff of that transaction. The distribution is intended to be a tax-free distribution, Ted. So as long as it hangs out there, Ted, and is worth $3.50 a share, it's tax-free. But hey, I'm sure we can find something to complain about. I'm in the mood for it, so let's keep drilling this down and see if we can find something to complain about. The distribution is intended to be tax-free to shareholders for U.S. federal income tax purposes. Shareholders do not need to pay any consideration or surrender or exchange their shares of HNRC stock. The registration statement will be filed in the second quarter. Company will update shareholders with progress. This is a pivotal time for the two companies. That was May. Okay, on June 30th, HNRC files registration statement for WDHI listing. I know it's difficult to look these things up, so I will take the time to read them for you. You go to otcmarkets.com, or you can go to Yahoo Finance, MarketWatch, your own brokerage firm. You type in HNRC, you go to news, and you can see press releases. On 6/30, June 30, 2023, HNRC files registration statement for WDHI listing. Houston Natural Resources Corp. Announced today that it has filed a registration statement for Worldwide Diversified Holdings to register the shares involved in the spinoff. The trading of WDHI shares will be subject to a registration statement being approved by the SEC. We will continue to keep our shareholders updated on the process. WDHI anticipates a NASDAQ listing with a target price of $3.50 a share. But Ted, I'll try to speed this up so it's disjointed. We wouldn't want you to have a shot at making $200,000 on this part. Let's just go out of here pell-mell and, damn the torpedoes and see what happens. The company has previously announced, effective May 26th, approval, the transfer of non-energy investments of $53,307,000, which I don't know if that's the acquisition price, if that's the cost basis. What I mean is that's the cost as they built it themselves. I'm not an accountant, but the board approved non-energy investments of over $53 million in exchange for common shares of Worldwide Diversified Holdings. Company received the requisite stockholder approval, granting that non-taxable spinoff. And the reason given was to separate the company's businesses into energy and non-energy. WDHI has a legacy portfolio in technology, telecommunications, and software industries. It will focus on additional opportunities in artificial intelligence and food technology. The company also reiterated that it intends to continue to implement its dividend policy in 23 and intends to pay additional dividends from liquidity events. But hey, let's solve this right now. We need it now. We need it fixed now. Wah, now, wah. The company also announced that it expects to complete the acquisition. Okay, that's HNRC. HNRC was rumored to be ready to pay a 35-cent cash dividend. It never happened. Okay, HNRC changed their name to Cunningham Natural Resources. They acquired interest in a copper mining. They did their financials. Cunningham bought a gold property. God, I'm sorry for coughing like that. Okay, October 4th. This is an update from HNRC. I'll just show it to you because you won't believe it. Why should you believe anything? The markets are all fraud. Obviously, everything's bullshit. I'll just read it to you. I'm not going to be able to show it to you. October 4th, 2023. Houston Natural Resources updated shareholders with developments, achievements, and insights for 2023 and beyond. The company has filed for a name change to Cunningham Natural Resources and a CUSIP change. I'm here to tell you, changing the name, changing the CUSIP does nothing with shorts, okay? It's nothing to do with it. Go to Frank Benedetto if you want to find out that makes stocks go up. Or Lou. Changing the name, changing the CUSIP changes nothing. Okay. The company had, this press release. I know it's hard to find. You have to go to Google. You type in over-the-counter markets, Yahoo Finance, others. Type in the stock symbol HNRC, although I think they've changed the symbol now to CNRC, but HNRC still works. You go to news and you pull it up, and you'll see that on October 4th of this year, a press release dated October 4, 2023, less than a month ago. Houston Natural Resources update, name change, CUSIP change. Then the company has appraised asset values of $2.90 a share. 2023 pro forma earnings of 8 cents a share. Earnings. That's not really the most relevant number in an energy company. Cash flow is more important as a comparison, but hey, earnings are king. So the company is dedicated to increasing stockholder value. And they have completed the following achievements in 2023. HNRC completed the distribution and asset spinoff dividend to shareholders of Worldwide Diversified Holdings, a majority-owned subsidiary of HNRC, and filed with the SEC for registration for the shares to be traded in the fourth quarter. Filed for registration with the SEC for the shares to be traded in the fourth quarter. October, November, December, fourth quarter. We're in November right now. The company completed the acquisition 100% of Cunningham Energy, an engineering company, has completed an evaluation of the assets. The appraised value of Cunningham Energy is $352 million, assuming a completion of a 68-well drilling program. This is an area where I can only throw. I like what I've read about this company. I've reached out to the CEO. He's never, to my knowledge, reached back to me. But I have contacts for most of you a lifetime, but for me, most of my good years. I'm very close with a company who drills here and operates in the exact same area. And in fact, I'm an investor in some of their projects. Not a large one, but it keeps my, should have been more, but it's a lot of lessons learned about who, anyway. The gentleman there, I won't use his name, cautioned me. I asked him about Cunningham Energy. Now, I think he thought I was thinking about putting money in a drilling program with Cunningham. And he said, run, don't walk, run away from it. Well, we'll see. I haven't seen the details of their drilling programs. I do know that if I were to drill in this area, I would drill with my guys, mainly because of trust, bottom line, trust, skill, trust, and tax reporting is always on time. But anyway, it's a minor caution. I don't think he was talking about, because he's not an engineering firm. We don't know who I'll try to find that out. But there you go. They acquired a gold company. They acquired 40% of Rhino Energy. Well, here's an interesting thing. The company has realized the value on a total of 15 cents per share in current energy assets held by its subsidiaries, with the potential for a 10% per share future dividend. Well, what's going on with it? Oh, God, what's going on? It's restricted. I want it fixed now. Fix it now. Fix it now. HNRC expects that they will exceed their annual projections for 2023 of over 20 million in revenue and 12 million in earnings. 12 million, I'll do a little bit of arithmetic on that. The company, this is the bad news. The company has engaged an underwriter for $10 million. So they'll get screwed. That's the one risk in the whole thing. The underwriter will FUCK them, because the guy, I'll try to write him an email, but they've already engaged the underwriter. It's probably already too late. I'll do my best, but it'll be selling shares to shorts, and nobody learns. He's going to have 12 million in earnings. Just wait for the earnings to accumulate. Screw Wall Street. Stop going to the criminals. But anyway, let me show you something. If they have 12 million in earnings next year, and how many shares outstanding? That's a shitload of shares. It's this, depending on what the financing is, it'll get crushed next year. But until then, we dance. There's too many share numbers here. Yeah. Just on my calculation, based on forward projections, the way it used to be, you could say this stock should be trading at 50 cents a share. Just on cash flow, just the way it used to be. But now, under Gary Gensler's markets, the markets are controlled by Jeff Easton's, and the Kramer brothers, and all the smiling faces. Okay, I'm going to look at, so there's no more comments. Maybe everybody's mad at me. All right. I'm going to look at Logic quickly. Nothing new on the SEC. Well, Logic's trading at 22 cents. They have 25,000 shares on the ask, which is, I'm sure, all spoofing. But there'll be somebody out there that says, oh, no, it's a legitimate sale. There's systems in place. But $139,000 shares. I am grumpy. I am grumpy, Silver Minecart. One thing that set me off is my computer froze for 30 minutes. I need to get a new computer. Second thing that set me off is hearing retail questions about dividends set me off. It's not fair because you guys don't know, but it sets me off because it shouldn't be this complicated. I think I've explained things in the past, though, that showed that there's an opportunity there. But I think the best place to invest for most people would be in the new BlackRock Positive Opportunity Trust Bust Plus ETF and pay $10 for it. They'll take 8.5% of your money out right away. They'll charge you 2% every year, and they'll trade it. They'll lend your stock out, and they'll go to town, and you can not worry about anything anymore. So this third thing that's gotten me grumpy is the markets just continue to steal. They just continue to frickin' steal. And then I guess I also haven't eaten. And if I'm honest, I haven't eaten really very much for a week because of not feeling well. And when I look at our situation, I don't think it looks good. I mean, you get guys like Ted who are loyal, big investors. But I guess somewhere in the 6 months restriction, I mean, you got May plus 6 months. I guess maybe people don't know. In the United States, restricted shares 6 months. Canada, 2 months. Here, 6 months. And then you can trade. But then there's a legend that has to be removed. And it has to be approved of by the SEC. So I think Ted's going to get his opportunity to dump WHDI with everybody else in December, November, December. Hopefully it'll be higher priced. That's something I wanted to look up. How do I do it? Maybe I have to go back to. Okay. Here it goes. Okay. No, that's not it. That's not it. I'll go there. Let's see. Okay, maybe I spelled it. Okay. All right, Ted, I just found something I wanted. I think this is right. This is Worldwide Diversified Holdings. Let's just see if it's the one. Let's see if it's going to have any. Okay. About. Well. So Worldwide originally acquired HNRC. They're based out of Delaware. 8 the Green, Dover, Delaware. All right. It's not that exciting, Ted. It's not that exciting. There's an opportunity to buy companies, sell them 3 to 5x. It's just another it's just another glossy with pictures on it, so it doesn't really help. All right, let's see what's ASPA. Logic messed up some info with the DTCC. I'm not sure. I'm not sure how that would work. Because I think what should happen is you got CAUD stock, but I don't think there's been a record date set yet. Wow, let me see. Here's the best news of the day. M3 available November 7th. What kind of apple? Is it a yeah, M3. I'll do it. I'll do it. What's going on? Oh, I see. Oh. Oh, Ted, I'm not mad at your comments. I'm not mad at your comments, Ted. I'm just mad at the whole situation. I appreciate your comments. I really am not mad at your comments, Ted. I just wanted to go through the two areas I think you had were GTII and WDHI. I think we all learned a little bit on HNRC by doing that, so I'm glad we did it. And on GTII, I don't think we learned anything. That's the part that gets annoying. But I'm not mad at you about that. You're not the only one asking. It's like we want the system to work, but it's a broken system, you know. But anyway, Ted, I apologize. I'm not worked up by your comments. It's just all of them. I ended up picking you because of the clarity of your questions, which is a good thing. Um, uh, uh, so, yeah, Ted, I'm not upset with you. I just, I don't know what. It's everything because it shouldn't be this difficult. The markets used to work, and for you to be tied up in these stocks is not fair. I'm in the same ones with you. I'm in the exact same ones. Let's see what else you say. Dig Mo Dig. I'm not sure they're gonna do much for you. The short vixen. Well, I'm not going to respond to that. That's your tag end at the end is idiocy. If Fidelity doesn't want to do the sale for you, move it to AST. They'll sell it to you for you, or move it to another. Move your whole account away from Fidelity. Just get the hell out of there. But keep notes so you can sue them. But that's very interesting, though. It's a year later, and Fidelity's still the company in trouble with GTII. But I've always got to fight everybody that no, COSM was a great thing to do. Well, ASPA shouldn't be appearing. It should be CAUD. And what I'm confused about is what's the record date? What the hell is the record date? I don't know what the record date is. Maybe it was the 23rd. But ASPA shares. Oh, wait a minute. You don't need the record date. I don't know. I think there needs to be a record date. How can they have shares showing up? Oh, wow. Skinny, that's great. That's great, Skinny. I can't believe it. Your husband is probably saying, a year? It feels like a decade. uh, I don't understand that ASPA going in. You should get ASPA shares, but as the shareholder of record, but they never announced the record date. There's something wrong there. I don't know what it is. I can't think of what it is, so we'll just find out. Yeah, I'd like that too, TAC 77. I've been thinking a lot about it. I think GTII should go into, I think two things they should do. They should go into a mode of acquiring assets which produce revenue and have upside. Secondly, they should have some sort of scheme where they're buying back shares, paying a dividend, anything like that with that revenue. And I want to talk to Ham about it, but maybe GTII can morph a little bit rather than being a incubator. It could be still be an incubator, but it could also be a source of plain vanilla capital for good companies who, you guessed it, in the first instance is revenue, so that we could build up a company with revenue, ever more revenue, and then just flush the criminals out of it. How can we sue our broker with all money tied up in these fraudulent accounts? Look, I don't know the answer to that. The United States securities markets are fraud, period. But you can still sue your brokers. Unfortunately, you signed an arbitration clause, so it's unlikely you're going to win anything. When are we going to take our country back from the banks? When? That's right. I mean, it's a con game. The whole thing's a con game. It's not supposed to be ASPA. There's two things wrong. One, they never set a record date. So unless they just got rid of all the rules and they just picked a back date as the record date without notifying anybody, I suppose it's possible. There's nothing to distribute yet. They don't know how to distribute yet. I think the record date has to be made effective today, tomorrow. Secondly, it should be collective audience. It shouldn't be ASPA. They divide us. Look, they don't care. I don't know what the answer is. Not that hard. Just get somebody at the SEC who cares about enforcing the rules. It's not Gary Gensler or Virginia Countrywide. It's just It's just not. So I would make my goal much smaller. If I were the new guy in the House, I would put through a proposal, remove the over-the-counter markets from the SEC, remove the over-the-counter markets from the over-the-counter markets, remove the over-the-counter markets from FINRA. Take over the top 3 floors of the SEC building. They're all empty. Give them to a new agency called over-the-counter market oversight and market oversight and fraud commission, and populate a new agency with people that are there to do the job. Put Anna, Queen of Trades, in charge, and you're off to the races. And then the over-the-counter markets would become the biggest, boomingest, transactioniness, making of wealthiness, superstar place on the planet. Well, the reason we're funding Israel and Ukraine and other conflicts around the world is we're saving the banks. I mean, it's Goldman Sachs controls the United States government. I mean, it's all the other banks too. But they come to Congress, we're going to fail and it's going to go down. So they need more funding, and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars aren't enough for these guys because they're so greedy, they're so leveraged, and they're so stupid. I don't recall that any question you gave me, Mr. Coriander, set you off. So thanks for the apology, but you have no need to apologize to me. I don't remember a question you asked. Well, we could try to figure that out. 89 ASPA shares. I would start with that 3,000. I'd start with 3,000. I'd divide it by I divide it by 9.25, but that may be low, but that's what I do. Where did I come up with that? That comes from that many shares voting of logic. So anyway, if you start with 3,000, you divide it by 9.2. Is 325 shares. I would expect that you would get 325 shares of CAUD. That's for your 3,000. I think you're going to get 325 shares of CAUD worth, if it's worth $15 a share, which might be high, might be low. I think your CAUD would be worth $5,000 value as you come out of the gate. Doesn't mean it'll trade there. Could trade higher. I'm using $15 a share for CAUD. And then on your 3,000 shares, I think they'll reverse split that by 50. So I think you'll get 60 shares of and I think that'll be trading at it'll trade. I think you'll end up with 60 shares of Nuco, and it'll be worth $1,500. So 1,500 divided by 60, it'll be about $25 a share. So you'll get 60 shares Nuco, 300 shares CAUD. The combined will be worth $6,500. Value, 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 value. I don't know where they're getting that ASP, those ASP numbers from. They make no sense. I put it in a bag. Yeah, I probably do need to go. Why? Why? Well, this is the thing, Vin. I can't believe that. BlackRock buys up everything. Then they're the oligopoly monopoly. I will say that when I was younger, I took the cone. I took environmental geology. It was interesting, but I was warned way back then. What's happening now? They knew, and one of the ideas was people shouldn't build in the flood zones and so close. And if they're flooded out, don't rebuild it. But anyway, we've taken a different path. But anyway, the cost of is just unbelievable. And the banks don't want you to realize it. But the reason you don't hear a lot about climate change or Fukushima Daiichi, for that matter, a lot of these stories is the banks don't want you to panic and think that, our waterfront property isn't that valuable, or nearly waterfront property. That's where most of the wealth in the world is tied up in loans. And then what's going to Vin, what's going to happen? Everyone's going to be a renter. And then Wall Street collects those dues every month, and they earn a fee on it. Why? Why do we need the banks in the middle of a transaction about where you want to rent a home or buy a home? Why? Greed, greed, greed. I don't know what the meaning of the 89 was. I don't even understand why they're releasing it without setting a record date. But I think, well, believe it or not, where does GoLogic fit in the logic story? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, I'm going to say probably wrong. It's probably 2 years now. I got to think that through. It's probably 2 years. I'm just going to say a year, but it could be 2 years. All right. At the end of last year, it could be 2 years ago, for every share of Logic that you owned, you were given a distribution of GoLogic. GoLogic basically was Southeast Asia. To pick a basic thing. These were restricted shares. You couldn't trade them, still can't trade them. In the meantime, when GoLogic first was distributed, it did trade briefly under Lovo. Yeah, so I guess it was 2 years ago. It was restricted. And then they traded under the symbol LOVO or LOVA. Anyway, it's like $8 a share. And then they traded under GoLogic. So now you have GoLogic shares trading at 50 cents. The same destruction, the same sales, the same. So it turns out that by distributing these shares, right now on the face, it looks like, well, what'd you really get? Well, I'm not going to bore you, but they have a fintech arm. They have a fintech arm, which is going to be distributed. You can look it up all in the news. Under recruiter.com, RCRT. And this is NASDAQ. Who cares about NASDAQ? So this has been announced that they're going to distribute the fintech part of their business, which is almost the same thing as what happened with Logic, into a new code called RCRT. There's reverse split going on here. There's still an approval needs done. There's a proxy statement. And this will have some sort of value to your shares of GoLogic, which I don't know. And then GoLogic will be a shell. And the shell will come over here. and it'll be worth something when they put a reverse merger candidate into the GoLogic shell. I don't know the numbers here, but I can project that on a combined basis, you're looking at 10x. But I don't know the data. I don't know the names of the companies. I don't know the projections. I own GoLogic stock, and I'd like to buy more of it. And if I were to guess on GoLogic, if Univest helps Finger, remember Brent's son introduced Univest to Finger. If I had to guess, if there's another company Univest might help, it would be GoLogic. Southeast Asia. I probably should have. I didn't, you know what, Dewey? I didn't even think of it. I didn't even think of that, Dewey. As stupid as that sounds. I should probably keep a catalog of previous videos. It's not a bad idea, Dewey. And that just shows how slow I am on technology. Look, people talking to Fidelity and expecting a good answer, I don't know. I don't know what to say. I don't want to get caught up in the big cause célèbre of it. All right, I'm going to... What? Did I screw up? And it splits. Yeah, you would have paid $1.85. That makes sense. And I think, oh, I erased it. I think the stock will be trading at like, I can't remember, $60 or something. So I screwed up. All right, let's try it again. I'm a little worried, Leader Landscape, that Logic already has had its ex-dividend date, even though it was not announced. And as far as I know, that's not legal. But hey. But if you buy Logic today, and assuming the record date still has not been announced, I think it's an open question. You pay 20 cents. ASPA agreed to buy Datalogic out of Logic for 11,400,000 shares at $10 a share. That's what ASPA did. You, as a shareholder of Logic, get your pro rata number of Datalogic shares as a distribution. And the short sellers do not have to distribute that to you because they sold the whole engine to the new, put it in the new car. They didn't sell it bit by bit by bit. You're not responsible. The shorts are not responsible for it piece by piece. It's sold. So based on at September 25th, this was how many shares were outstanding in Logic. So they distributed 11,400,000. I got 10.1082. Let me see if I can get it a different way. One 105,284,314 divided by 11,400, 9.23. So if you divide that number of shares by that many shares of ASPA, you get 9.23. In other words, for every 9.23 shares of Logic, you get 1 share of ASPA. So let's do that. I don't know what number to pick on 3,000 shares. So you'd, like I said, you'd end up with 325 shares of ASPA. Now the value out of the gate of that, serenity now, serenity now, serenity now, is 11,400,000 shares times 10. That was the agreed price, 114 million. So out of the gate, those shares are worth $10 a share. So it's worth, if you paid 20 cents, 3,000 times 0.2, pay $600. Oh, so you'd have Stock is currently trading at 27. And then you would have your Logic shares. I think they're going to be divided 50 for 1. So as far as I can see it right now, if you buy 3,000 shares of Logic, it costs you $600. There's a huge caveat that maybe they've already set the record date and it's too late to do this. The Logic shares will become 325 collective audience. At $10, that's worth $3,250. But the stock's trading at $27 right now. So it's really worth close to $9,000. But I suspect it'll come in between these two numbers. And then the Logic shell, I think will trade to your interests worth $1,800. You're only going to have 50 shares. So it'll probably be trading at $36 a share. Both will be NASDAQ. And that's the scoop. When do I think Finger will squeeze? I think Finger will squeeze at let me look it up. I can't come up with a clever time. I have no idea if Finger will ever squeeze. If Finger squeezes, it'll be out of the blue. So I would just, you know what, Mr. Coriander, either just get out of it or put in your GTC orders and let's not watch it. Let's just not watch it for a couple days. I would move to a small regional firm but then it depends who they clear through. But what's going to take down the brokerage firms are derivatives, and Morgan Stanley is as exposed as any of them. Nobody's going to be safe. But I would go to a smaller brokerage house. How would I rate Morgan Stanley? You've got Wells Fargo. I've heard they've got some issues. I've heard Merrill Lynch might have some issues, but I don't know. It's all just what people talk about. I don't know. JP Morgan clearly has issues. The guy that's in the position to know sold a fifth of his position. Yeah, I think I would go to a smaller bank or just hold all my securities at home. If one goes broke, they're all going down though. You're not right. You're not right, leader. If you bought 3,000 shares today, which you may not have that opportunity, it costs you 21 cents, costs you 20 cents, costs you $620. That's your cost. You don't pay more than that. You don't pay more than that. They're paying 11,400,000 shares to acquire DLQ. So the 11,400,000 shares have to be distributed across 105 million. And that's why you receive one share of DLQ for every 9.25 shares of that's a distribution. And that's what it is. Yes, ring the bell. Yes, ring the bell. The fiduciary responsibility to act like a normal human being in the markets where you put up the money, they put up the stock, and they guarantee it shifts directly to Schwab. You guys, all of you should just get out of the market. You have no faith in the markets, and I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. I really don't blame you. It's a joke. What Goober Gensler has done to the markets and the people before him it's a complete joke. It's just an absolute complete joke. And I don't blame you. But if you can't even understand that if one bank buys the other, that your rights are insured, the trust is totally broken down. And I'm not here to rebuild your trust in the market. The U.S. markets are all fraud. 100% fraud. And I don't know if we'll ever get a squeeze out of one of these things because the cops are bought. They're bought and paid for. The regulators want a job with Goldman Sachs. The journalists want to be hired by one of BlackRock's portfolio media companies. You can look it up. You won't live long enough to see it. But this all started because Bill Clinton passed the America Press's Best, Fairest in the World Act, whatever it was called. When you and I supported Bill Clinton, we changed our country permanently. So it's left me never not thinking about tomorrow because it will soon be here. Anyway, I'm going to sign off. I got to see somebody later. I'm just so tired. All right, let me see what you said about 6,500. The deal to buy Datalogic was made of and between Aubrey SPAC, and Logic in exchange for 11,400,000 shares of Aubrey SPAC. Logic agreed to sell DataLogic in toto to Aubrey SPAC for 11,400,000 shares of Aubrey SPAC, price at $10. If you noticed, Aubrey SPAC is trading at $27, but there can be no guarantee that when the stock starts trading under the name CAUD, that's where it will start trading. On the other hand, there's no assurance it won't be higher. Why is Aubrey SPAC worth $10 a share? Well, it traded there for well over a year. Traded at $11 for over a year. Aubrey SPAC had cash in it. That's how you do SPACs. Everybody that was in it had an option to take their money out. Most did, which is why there's only 41 million shares left of Aubrey SPAC. The deal remained. The deal got approved eventually by the SEC. The deal was approved by shareholders last week. The difference between the $1.50 and the $2.80 that I gave, it's almost worth less. Buy Logic, 22 cents. Not tired with you guys. I'm just tired of this. Lawyers take forever doing anything. Pay 22 cents at record date, which might have already happened. The ASPA approved, agreed, $1.08 at $10 a share. $1.08. That was voted on, approved by the SEC, and it's agreed. $1.08. Logic, 22 cents. If the record date's tomorrow. Approved and agreed at $10, $1.08. On the other hand, based on the closing price of $27 a share, if in the fantasy land ASPA opened trading at $27, what it's worth to you is $2.92. pay 22, agreed deal $1.08. If ASPA keeps trading at these prices, $2.92. That is the distribution of DataLogic to Aubrey SPAC, and then you get shares of Aubrey SPAC. What happens to the eviscerated logic? The shorts keep selling this because they think it's going to have nothing in it. You don't know that it is. Reverse merger. That candidate should be better than the one they let go. No? Or do you think they let one go so they can do a worse one? I'm going to assume it's better. So, Logic, buy it for 22 cents, assuming the record date hasn't already passed. There's been no announcement, so I don't think it has. If one were to buy it at 22 cents, tomorrow, at the $10 agreed price, it's worth $1.08 a share. The shell is worth 60 cents. I added those together. I came up with $1.50. That's the $1.50. The 280 came when, instead of using 27 cents a share here, which gave $2.92 to be added to 60 cents, I just used $15. So that gave a potential, but it's all guesswork. It's all guesswork. The weakness in the deal is whether or not that valuation at $10 will hold up, or will it be worth $30 a share? And I think the $10 will definitely hold up. $30 is a stretch. I'd pick $15 to $20 as the settling point. But I'm gonna close this off because well, one thing that lawyers don't have the ability to do, it sounds like you're a business person. Lawyers give businesses zero value. They give opportunities zero value. And if you're in a situation where you can't afford them, and the only way to keep the business going is for their work to continue, they'll quit on you. And then your business has zero value. It's just how it goes. Lawyers are their own unique breed. Remember, they had to study law. So therefore, every utterance should be paid for. And if not, see you later, pal. We'll go represent the criminals. There's some good lawyers out there that aren't doing that, though, and you know them. You know them. Are we seeing the reversal in GME up 8.5%? No. Complete head fake. And I'm glad you brought it up. I hope people go diving out of Finger and GTII and they pour money into GME so that the shorts in GME can make even more money against you. All right, I'm gonna go. I don't know if this is a serious question, but because half the time your questions are meant to provoke, other times they're very normal. So I don't know. There's something wrong with me. I'm too pessimistic. Okay. Finger was there to squeeze 4, if not 5 months in a row, and Univest did nothing, and it just all collapsed around everyone. I should have stayed optimistic during those 5 times, and I'll be optimistic now. GTII, been in it for 3 years, fighting the same bullshit assholes who have brains the size of half a hollowed out pea, taunting you, laughing at you, and Goober Gensler walks away. Talk about small brain cranial sizes. I bet he shops for hats in the women's section, the little girls sections. I'm not making fun of women. So I should be optimistic on that. We're coming into tax loss season. Every single stock you're in now is going to get crushed. Every single one. But I'll be optimistic. You all ask the same questions over and over and over and over and over again. So obviously I'm not teaching anything. And then on top of that, you get mad at 1 or 2 people without realizing the problem is the darn system. But no, I'll be optimistic on that. Doesn't matter if I'm optimistic on a stock, a story, on what might happen. Hey, I got this restricted dividend. It's never going to trade. Hey, my restricted shares are worthless. From where are they worthless? Fidelity won't trade them. But go into court and prove they're worthless for me. Be an interesting argument that you would have. Oh, my MMTLP is worthless. I've lost all my money. I don't know. Why should I be optimistic, Mr. Coriander? Why should I be optimistic? No, I don't know that. I don't remember that. Was that a good commercial? That'd be pretty cool if we could do it again. Yeah, I'm gonna go get lunch or something. All right, I'm gonna go, guys, and I'm not gonna make a long goodbye. Just please, if you think about it, for November, for the first week or so of November, if and when you think of it, if you hear a bird, say a prayer for Jenny L. Say a prayer for Jenny L. Hug her in your heart, hug her in your mind, and keep her strong. Keep her strong. And give her some smiling face presence too. So well, that's it, D's nuts. You don't have to be married to a stock, and if you can ride it, if you can understand why the stock's going up, and then just get out. And then some people are saying, hey, we almost had it. Let's do this again. Let's do this again. You got to listen to it again. But odds are it's not happening again. It's not happening again. I will say one thing, and I'm so tired. I shouldn't say it, but I think there's one investor out there who has really put himself on the line for you, and not just now, in the past too. And for lack of a better term, I'm going to call him the Duke. I think he laid it all out on the field 2 weeks ago, and I think he's still there. I'll try to do a better job with that in the future. But as far as that went, I just want to say kudos and thanks to the Duke. Lou made a. That's great. Lou has wisdom. Lou has an ability to see where things are going. And I didn't see his video, but thanks for bringing it to attention. Hey, Buck Thanar, I'm at an age when I go in for a massage, I want a happy beginning. Just in case. Sorry you had pneumonia. Doesn't sound good. All right, I'm going to go. I can't fix today. It was a bad call. I'm hopeful that with Logic, we'll know the record date, and then we'll have some clarity. On the other stocks, they're there, and there are some strategies where we can make money. I'm too tired to go through it again, and it feels all kind of useless. It really does. Finger is the one that seems to be teed up in that hackneyed phrase. So let's see what happens there. Anyway, I'll talk to you guys later.